Hi, my name is Bailey Belisle, and this is my introduction video for EDL853 Special Education for School Administrators. My demographics and a little bit about me. I have been married for 5 years. I married my high school sweetheart, so technically we've been together for 13 years. We have 3 children together. Kyron is 4 and in preschool right across the hall from me. Kelby is 2, and I just had Cortland in June, so she is 4 months old. This is my 6th year teaching. I teach at Trigo Grade School in Waukene. I am the 3rd grade teacher. I have taught 3rd grade for 2 years, and then I moved to 1st grade for 2 years, and then this is my 2nd year back in 3rd grade. So a total of 4 years in 3rd grade, and that's kind of my home. But I did enjoy 1st grade also. I also was the high school volleyball coach, but as you can see by that picture there, I have 3 little ones that needed their moms, so I decided to take a break from coaching so I could still pursue my master's degree and be there for them. I do come from a family of teachers. My mom was an educator for 13 years. She was a junior high English teacher, and then she got her building administrative degree and was a principal for at least 7 years, and now she is currently a superintendent at a neighboring school. My older brother, is a PE teacher in Oberlin. My younger brother, or one of my younger brothers, is a PE teacher in Council Grove. And my youngest brother, so I have 3 brothers, my youngest brother is getting his degree from Fort Hays as well to be a PE teacher. So all my siblings and I have graduated with teaching degrees. My younger brothers and I graduated from Fort Hays, and so did my mother. At one point last year, all 5 of us were students at Fort Hays, either getting our master's, undergrad, or my mom was getting her ed specialist degree. So we are definitely a family of teachers. When I think about how my school goes about meeting the needs of our students with special needs, we usually have a process that we take before we refer the student for special education. We are one-to-one iPads, and so I think that helps a lot. We have different apps and strategies we can use on our technology to better assist those types of learners. We also have Title I in our school, and I know it used to be a certified teacher and it wasn't whole school Title I. Still kind of learning the difference and how that works before, because since I started at Trigo, it was a whole school Title I program. So we do have Title I support in the classroom. A lot of our teachers, including myself, are trying some flexible seating options, and I think that really helps some students before we have to refer them to the special education classroom, because it gives them a better learning opportunity and something that might better assist them just based off of letting them choose their seat and where they can work best. We are in the beginning stages of MTSS in our school. We just started that this year. So we have small groups. We're trying to make it a fluid process where we level our students. For example, the other 3rd grade teacher and I work with our Title I teacher to provide more support for our students that don't quite qualify for special education services, but need more support than what's given just in a general ed classroom. So we're just in the beginning stages of that. As far as after referral, if we go through the testing and they do qualify for special education services, basically what our resource room looks like is our special education teachers, both of them, do a great job of providing small group setting and work opportunities for our students. It's very leveled instruction, and so for example, last year I had a 3rd grader that was working at a 1st grade level, and so when she was in the classroom with our special education, in the resource room with our special education teacher, she wasn't trying to have her work on third grade stuff, of course. She was working at a first grade level. So, and another thing that I think our resource group teachers do a great job of is a low educator to student ratio, which can be very hard when the numbers start to get higher in that special ed room. But they always ensure that they don't have more than a group of 3 or 4 students working with an adult. So that's very impressive for our school. And then we also, which I'm sure a lot of schools do, try to do inclusion before we have any pull-out time. We have really amazing paraeducators in our school, and so if a student qualifies for special education, we try to give paraeducator support within the general ed classroom and try to eliminate any pull-out situation if at all possible. And we also do modified assignments within the classroom. So if a student is on an IEP, or even if they're not at times, we will modify the assignment that's given to better assist the student and maybe not have such a heavy load on them. Just thinking about my special ed practices, I do, of course, do preferential seating. As you can see, I have 2 different pictures. Those are just little sections of my classroom where I'm trying some different flexible seating options. I have a standing desk and then 2 places for them to kneel. Just different quiet areas for students to work instead of at their normal seats next to their noisy neighbors. As I said, I do modify my assignments to best suit the student. So that's something I do just on my own before the special education process. I do give students extensions on time if needed. So if our reading block is only an hour long and they need more time to work on their seat work, then I definitely give that to them. I think it's really important that there is a clear line of communication with colleagues and special ed teachers and parents, especially when you're starting that special ed process and that referral process. It's really important to keep in touch with all people that are involved in that process to make it as fluid as possible. And I think that our staff does a good job of that, and that's something that I really strive to work on during that process. I also think it's really important to familiarize yourself with a student's current IEP, just understanding that the accommodations that previous teachers have made and what's worked and what maybe hasn't worked for that student, and making sure that you're following that IEP as it's stated, just to protect the student and your school, but also provide them with the best learning opportunity that I can. And then I really try to work towards a student strength at all costs. A lot of times we get hung up on that this is the way I want it done, and I see that a lot maybe with some extra support in the classroom, paraeducators or foster grandparents. Maybe they think this is how it has to be done and this is what is expected, but I think we need to focus more on how can the student best complete this assignment or best master this content. So that's a focus of mine in my room. And a plan for improvement that I could see within my school is to continue to improve the MTSS model that we are trying to implement. We're a little shaky right now just because it's our first year trying this. So I think maybe getting some extra training and maybe collaborating with other school districts that have a solid foundation of MTSS in place would be beneficial. I also would like to see our Title I department improving. We do have a veteran teacher that has moved from the classroom to Title I, so that's been great for our school. And we have increased PLC times this year. So every Wednesday we have an opportunity for teachers to get together and discuss student learning and strategies, testing, data collection, that kind of thing. And that will be very beneficial for our students as we go through the year. Some funding questions that I have and some considerations is how do the title funds work? And how can we use those funds maybe to go to certain trainings that would help with this process? we just had a lot of teachers go through um, training for a Pathways program to improve our phonics in our younger grades. And although it was very beneficial, I'm sure it was quite expensive. So I'd like to understand more where those funds come from and how they can be used to benefit our special education in our school. So I look forward to working with all of you, and thank you for watching. Have a great evening.